Hola, mi gente, and welcome back to Film Posers. My name is Josie, and I'm accompanied by my lovely co-hosts, Gabriela Burgos and Ana Sofia Cintron. And today we are going to be talking about the one and only Vivo. No me dejen hanging.
Vivo!
Yay! So, a little bit about Vivo before we get into our first thoughts, reactions, reviews, etc. It is a film directed by Kirk D'Amico. It will be available August 6th on Netflix. So, make sure you have that Netflix account ready because you're not going to want to miss out on this. Sneak peek to like our general reactions to this film. But like again, a little bit about the film. It follows Vivo, a music-loving kinkajou that embarks on the journey of a lifetime to fulfill his destiny and deliver a love song for an old friend. And I think we can start this by saying that we will be suing Sony for emotional distress.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
It is a lovely film, but it's definitely very emotional. So at least if you, I will say you'll probably have a more emotional reaction to the film if you are connected to Hispanic and Latino culture specifically. But I think like for that specific moment of the film, if you don't react a certain way, I don't trust you. So yeah, I'm gonna hand it over to Anna first. What were your thoughts?
So Vivo is a simple yet enjoyable film that celebrates Cuban culture, it celebrates music, and it's just a film full of color. The animation was very vibrant, the music was so lively, and you know what? It had that hint of sabor with it. And there were some times in the movie when I thought, you know what? I know that, okay? When especially when mom behavior and we have the croquetas and then we have the vecinos fighting and talking. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I lived this.
I love that moment because especially I love how I was tearing up at that point. Like already right off the back. Like I heard croquetas and I started getting emotional.
The mangoes.
Yes, and then the two men that started yelling at each other and then it was like, saluda a tu familia por mí. Oye, cómo suave. Y yo, yes, that is
And
it's
it's
just
so energetic, you know.
yeah, it's the first time that we see Caribbean culture being represented this way in an animated film because of course we had Coco, but Coco is like centered around Mexico and Mexican culture. But it felt like again, Puerto Rican earrings. It's in Cuba, but it still feels like home.
Yeah, and we definitely have, even though the the girl Gabby, she is from the diaspora, she still has a little bit of Cuba with her. And I love that her mom has that Cuban accent to it, and she has the Latinx behavior of every like mom.
Also very random, but since you mentioned Gabby's mom, Rosa, who is played by Zoe Saldaña, I absolutely love that in the credits it's the first time I see her name con la ñ.
Yeah, so es
Yeah.
Saldaña. Because she had to like Americanize her name because no like her real name is Zoe Saldaña, but she
Mm-hmm.
had to like Americanize it to Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, and also I just love like going into voice acting and everything. I loved how Lin-Manuel played Vivo. I loved our newcomer as Gabby, and then with Zoe Saldaña, you could tell that she was really having fun with the character, or at least that's how it came off. And if yeah, if the intent was there and the cues were just right. Gabriela, what were your thoughts when it came to this
Yeah,
film?
I remember I FaceTime Josie ugly crying after I finished this film. Because I was the last of the posers to watch it. And so I hadn't seen any of the trailers. Like I didn't really not know much about it other than, it was a monkey and that Lin-Manuel was voicing it and that it was set in Cuba. Like that was pretty much all I knew about it. So I went in not knowing anything and I was so pleasantly surprised by the story. Yeah, is it cliche? Yes, but it's a lot of fun and the music is so beautiful and so lovely and I love how the story was told through the music, and
Yeah.
obviously the culture was there, it was present, it was beautiful. It was a really lovely film and it's very memorable in my opinion.
It's a very memorable film, and it's one I will not forget for a long
Yeah,
time because
for
it just
sure.
spoke to me so much. At least like um getting into the negatives, which really aren't that negative, but the things that I will criticize about this film is that I think the first and third act are the strongest.
Hmm.
It gives into the authenticity of it all, like in Cuba, and um when we have those moments of playing around with animation, because there are different types of animation in this film, as Sony has been able to do recently ever since Spider-Verse. So that new common characteristic in their films is very beautiful and well done, and just the animation is so crisp in this film. There are so many moments that, like, there's one moment where um Marta's character, Gloria Stefan, voices Marta, just in case. Really good job.
Cuban
There's a moment
icon.
where she turns to the side and you can see like the peach fuzz on her cheek under the makeup. Like you can tell that she has makeup on and you can see a little of the peach fuzz, and I'm like, the detail. So you can tell that there was a lot of love put into this, and as Chiara Alegria Judes, who wrote the screenplay alongside with like Lin-Manuel made the music, but then Chiara wrote the screenplay and she also wrote part of the screenplay for In the Heights. So creative duo right there. And she's mentioned that this has been a passion project in Lin-Manuel's book for about a decade now. So you can clearly tell that there was a lot of love and effort put into this. And then I will say um, the other thing that I kind of will criticize is that um, Lynn's music can sometimes feel a little bit one note, but it is so charming that I love it. You can tell that Lynn has definitely figured out that this works and he's gonna keep using it. So at some points it definitely felt like stuff we'd
Yeah.
heard before, but he managed to make it. It's still, you can hear it and it sounds like it's from Vivo, but at the same time it's a Lin-Manuel piece.
Yeah, for sure. That's one thing I definitely noticed, and I was kind of like, really, like,
Mm-hmm.
you could have tried something a little bit different, but the music was still really cool. I really liked it, especially like the song, one of the last songs that's performed by Gloria Stefan. That was my favorite song from
I
Vivo.
love that song
It's so
because
beautiful.
yeah, one thing that I really liked about this film is that if you're going into it, um, keep in mind that it is a film about loss, it is about love, it is about family, and not just loss in a physical sense, but also it deals a lot with, like how Anna said, with the diaspora and how we have to leave. And again, this is said in Cuba, but this speaks a lot for people that are from the Dominican Republic, from Haiti, from the U.S. Virgin Islands, and from Puerto Rico, where we have to sometimes leave to go to like the United States specifically, which is the case here, because opportunities are scarce here, and sometimes we have to leave, and we have to leave so many people behind, and we don't want to go. So it's that acceptance of the fact that you just gotta let people go. So it's also dealing with that, and it's just so perfectly done. And I'm gonna keep gushing about this film so someone else take over.
But I was gonna say that even though Lin-Manuel's like Miranda's like music is one noted, if it feels that it matches the energy of the animation
Mhm.
Yeah.
with this one.
Yeah.
And I also like how they incorporated a lot of Spanish in the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and also we have the accents with it, because usually in some movies when they have a Latino character, they don't incorporate Spanish even though they are Latino.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was happy to see that they did that. And yeah, Gloria Estefan, she was really amazing with the last song. It really touched my heart. And it was
I
very emotional too.
very emotional. I love how I didn't know Gloria Stefan voiced Marta, but as soon as she started talking, I recognized that voice
Yeah.
because obviously Gloria Stefan is such a big part of Latino culture. Like she's an
Yeah.
icon.
So I also like how Viva goes into this full circle moment. We love that character development that he goes, like the dynamic that he goes with each character is so different, and we see that grows throughout the film. And I like that. It was like a little pinch of what we love someone. We love the character development in here. In here. And also, Gabby has a lot of stuff stands with his her character. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I didn't tear up as much in the first part. I teared up in the last part
Hmm.
with her conversation with her mother, because you know what, it feels like something you go through when you're a teenager.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I related a lot to Gabby, not only because, she's named Gabriela, like me, and specifically Gabriela Maria.
María Rosa Hernández.
And I was almost named Gabriela Maria. So I was like, oh my God. So when her mother would yell, Gabriela, and she was mad, I would like my head would snap up because it's like, yeah, like I feel that when, when a parent yells at you because you did something wrong. And when they kept saying, Gabriela is a lot, I was like, I get that a lot too. So I get you, Gabby. So it was just really funny because I really hadn't heard my name used in like a Latinx film before, so it was a lot of fun. But I also did relate a lot to Gabby in that sense of that conversation that she has with her mother and her wanting to be someone that her mother kind of doesn't want her to be. I
Hmm.
also could relate a lot to that. So I think her character was well done, and despite being 10, a child, not even a preteen yet, that her having to go through all of those things at her young age, it was very impressive to see because we normally see those types of subject matters handled in teenagers or young adults, but rarely do we see that with children. So I really like that.
Yeah, it definitely is a film that we've been advocating for, so I highly recommend that you all watch it because it does what we've been wanting for so long, which is animated films that treat kids as the smart, capable people that they are of understanding difficult subject matters, because sometimes these studios tend to dumb down films and really they comprehend so much more than we give them credit for. And we were all kids once, so we should be able to vouch for these kinds of stories to be made and shared with this age group, because again, this movie just does so well because it is so universal. Anyone can watch it and will get something from it, and you don't have to be Latino to appreciate it because it is such a wholesome story with so much heart and so much to say, and it does have that authenticity and that culture that does add that really like that sabor and that nice layer, ese toque especial. But again, it's just a genuinely fun and touching story.
Yeah, for sure. I had a lot of fun with this film. And again, I didn't really know anything about it. So to me, it was a really big surprise. So it's a really fun and it's full of heart. Like this film is full of heart. And I just want to praise Netflix for, this year, they're not messing around with animation.
Yeah.
We got The Mitchells versus the Machines, and now we got Vivo, two films that emotionally destroyed me. Like they're not messing around this year with their animation.
And they're both by Stoney.
And
Stoney
see,
said, I'm gonna wreck y'all this year.
literally, like we are suing for emotional damage.
So today you've heard it first. That is all for a review, and also this is the announcement of our Vivo and Mitchell's versus the Machines Oscar campaign. We write it on.
Yes, we are starting. We better see them at the Oscars next year.
And that's all for this video. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. Also, make sure to follow us on our social media platforms. We are at Film Posers everywhere. So that is Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And yeah, follow us to keep up with what's going on, what we will be talking about, and also to find out when our next podcast season is going to be airing. So other than that, remember, we're all film posers. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.